What?
And I'm going to give you one opportunity because we're friends.
Winner!
Who gives a shit about where the ball's been?
Yeah, F him. They went from loving this guy, best move ever, to hating him.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
I love it because it tells you how the game was played.
There's nowhere for him to go. Literally, I think there's one place.
You can't do that in the national team. Do I look like I'm freaking kidding?
He does things that are absolutely insane.
Successful and sexy? No. It wasn't aggravating at times? Yes.
Sorry,
That's not very fair.
It's not about being fair.
Welcome to the greatest soccer show ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the weekly recap from We Are Soccer. Whoo! International breaks. Don't we love them? So much going on. No, they suck. We all know it. It's not fun, but you know what? There's still a lot to talk about. Everton have been docked 10 points for cheating. We'll talk about that. We'll tell you the ins and outs. We'll tell you how it affects the other clubs that have also maybe have been caught cheating. We'll see how it goes there. USA, the U.S. women's team, have a new coach, Emma Hayes. We'll talk about her and how that could change the complexity of the U.S. national team setup for the women. The USA men played this past week and beat Trinidad and Tobago 3-0. Up next, Trinidad and Tobago. Tomorrow, I believe. We'll talk about that. Our man in the studio, Nate, was down there in Austin. We'll see if he liked the game, what he thought of it. We've got Chris Armas moving. We've got NCAA soccer to talk about. We've got a new offside, a new version of an offside rule that could be coming to World Soccer. I believe it's being tested out now. We'll talk about that. Now, not just me here in the studio for the weekly recap of We Are Soccer. I've got the boys. The rest of the crew are here. We've got Nate, Danny, and Brooks. Why don't we check in with them? Boys, how we doing? Nate, Danny, good?
Oh, wonderful. Just got back in from Austin last night and can't wait to talk all about U.S. Men's National Team and barbecue.
Barbecue?
Barbecue.
Lovely. Danny, how are you, buddy?
Good. Great weekend, mate. Nice to see Nate back after his trip. It's love to see your beautiful eyes, mate.
I just flew back in from Austin. Boy, are my arms tired. Hey!
Ooh, dad joke. First dad joke of the day right there. Well done.
I'm really looking forward to talking about the Everton points deduction tonight because I think it yields a different topic. So, looking forward to that.
All right, awesome. Brooks, how are you, my friend?
Long morning at ODP this morning, and what did I do Saturday? All emails and reaching out to players and everything for the Midwest Pro Combine, which is happening December 20th and 21st
Very cool.
in the state of Michigan. We invite a lot of USL, MLS, and NISA teams to watch college and all sorts of players. Anyways, tonight I'm looking forward to the U17 U.S. Youth National Team, which I watched that game against France on Saturday morning at 7 a.m. That's going to be fun to talk about. We got some moves, some coaching news in MLS, and we also have some NCAA soccer that I've been watching a lot of as well. So looking forward to that.
Nice, man. Awesome. All right, well, as you heard, first on the docket, we're talking about Everton. Unprecedented what just happened to them. Yes, they were caught cheating. Actually, they admitted to cheating. There was a big, oh my word. This is the first time this has ever happened in the Premier League where a team has been docked points. Now, it has happened below in the lower tiers of the league in English soccer. Points have been taken away, especially when teams enter administration, meaning they can't pay the players and the staff and all that good stuff. This time, Everton were warned. They were being watched by the EPL Premiership, and wouldn't you know it, they still went ahead and broke rules. They submitted documents saying that this is what happened, new stadium and all that. They've been docked 10 points. They now fall into second from bottom in the table. Sean Dyche and his team were actually playing really well and picked up a lot of points over the last couple of weeks. So this is really going to hurt. Our man Danny has a lot more info on this. Danny, we were talking about this beforehand. This is unprecedented. It's unthinkable. I don't think anybody saw this coming.
No, I don't. I don't think anybody saw it coming because there was noise around other different clubs, wasn't there?
Yep.
And I think that this all took place really during between 2018 and 2021 really, and it really relates to a 5-day hearing last month. Where the Premier League Commission determined that Everton's had broken the PSR rules. So the profit and sustainability rules.
Right.
In calculation, for relevant period of in loss of revenue, basically of $124.5 million.
Where the rule is they're only allowed to lose $105 million.
Right.
And they went over it, and they knew they went over it.
Yeah.
So I'll let you finish, but I just want to put that out there. Yep.
No, it's, the profit and sustainability rules dictate that clubs are allowed to lose a maximum of $105 million over a 3-year period. But Everton, I don't know how it came about, but recorded losses of $370 million between 2018 and 2021. Now, one would argue that during that time, I think every club was struggling during COVID-19, right? During the loss of revenue of ticket sales and shirt sales and all that sort of stuff. So, but it is very unprecedented. It's 10 points. And the funny thing is, I don't think it actually really affects them that much, because if you look at the bottom 3, they win, they're out. If they win one game, they're out of the 3.
You beat me to it. This is the year for them to have been deducted points, because there are so many teams that are worse than them this year. Like you said, they win one game, they'll jump out of that bottom relegation zone. Now, Danny, some of the little pieces in this story are the Premiership and Everton got together. I believe this was a couple of years in the middle of all this happening, and they said, "Listen, we're going to lose money here, but we're building a new stadium." And this is some of the money we're putting towards the stadium should be written off in our losses. So some of that should be happening. They also then went and purchased a couple of players. Then they tried to sell a player for a large sum of money, and they said this is going to cover some of the losses. The player has not been named. I believe it was James Rodriguez.
James.
Yes, I believe it was him, because then he kind of went on a mental health break, I believe it was, right? And they actually thought, you know what? We can't sell him, so we can't write that off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to claim and try to get £10 million back for him. If we can do that, we can write it off, and we fall below this threshold of $105 million, we're going to be good. They decided against that. They couldn't do that. Then the Premiership said, listen, we will watch this. We will help you through this. Let's just work through this. Let us know when you're going to buy players. Let us know what's going to happen here. We'll work through this. Everton failed to do that. Everton failed to recognize that the Premiership was trying to help them. Here's what I believe is really why the Premiership did something unprecedented and docked them 10 points. The Premiership said, we'll help you. Everton said, yeah, that's cool. Now we're going to go out and do our own thing. Oh, and by the way, we're telling you, Premiership, that we're going to sell player X. Oh, and what did they do? They didn't sell him. They signed him to a brand new contract, making more debt for themselves, putting themselves in a bigger hole. And the Premiership went, "What? This can't happen. This can't continue to happen." I know Everton went above and beyond this because they had a new owner, and they thought, you know what? The Premiership's just they're going to fine us. They'll fine us about £8 to £10 million for being over, for breaking the rules. Yeah, we'll be all right. We'll be good. We'll just pay that fine.
Which is one of them. Like fines, dock points, transfer embargo.
Transfer embargo is another one, yep.
And then there's expulsion.
Yep.
Right. So there's a range of penalties that they can pick up. I'm thinking that just because the fact that it was really one charge, one major charge that had 4 breaches within that charge. So it's a rule of profit and sustainability rules, right? And then within that, they broke it on 4 separate occasions. They breached it on 4 separate occasions throughout between 2018 and 2021. To the tune of $370 million of recorded losses. So, I spoke to a couple of people today actually, and I think a lot of it was moving money around and player sales that were not properly accounted for, and the stadium that they're building and all that sort of thing. So it's unprecedented, but if, like you said, if it was ever going to happen to anybody at this moment in time, it should have happened to Everton, because really they've dropped into the bottom 3, but with one win, they're out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Now what's going to happen is they're also being sued. We'll get to that in a second. Brooks, do we have a comment?
Yeah. So Scott Beebe just says, in your research with both of you, what about does he think the Everton will also be docked an additional 9 for administrative issues? He said he saw some articles that could be a possibility as well.
Yeah. So as it stands right now, right? So I think it's Leicester City and Leeds and Burnley.
Yep.
Have all collectively basically turned around and said that they're going to sue Everton Football Club to the tune of about 300 million, which could further garnish them another 9 points, right? And they've got every right to do that because, if they broke rules and stayed up, and I think something about the points difference between, what they stayed up with and what the team was relegated with, it centers around that. So, I think they're trying to sue Everton Football Club, which is, it's just it's gonna create a whole new set of problems.
It really is. I haven't read anything about them being docked additional points. From what I understand, it's now said and done. It's over with. They need to comply with the rules moving forward. But regarding the lawsuits, it's funny. I talked to a Leeds fan the other day, and I said, "Are you upset?" I mean, essentially what happened was Everton cheated. Everton weren't allowed to go and spend money on players, and they did, bringing in decent players, good players, to help them stay up and in the Premiership. And wouldn't you know it, Leeds, Burnley, and Leicester were all relegated. So are you upset as a Leeds fan? He goes, no. He goes, I'm not upset. He goes, I believe Leeds didn't play well enough to stay up. He goes, I'm fine with it. It is what it is. He doesn't really give a toss. So it's very interesting to hear that perspective. But his club, Leeds, Leicester, and Burnley, are coming together. And I believe I've heard there's another 2 clubs going to join forces, and they're all going to sue. They're going to take Everton in court because of lost revenue that they believe they are owed. The fans, I don't think, really care too much. But the clubs, obviously, that's a lot of money. So now they can bring back, if all of a sudden, if they win, they have to be paid £100 million. That they can go out and do a lot with that. Now, I've seen a lot on the Facebook group. I've heard a lot about this. Where does this leave Man City and Chelsea? We all know Man City have been embroiled in scandals, we'll say, alleged cheating. Since 2009, there's been rumors around about this. I believe it was 2014 when one of the German newspapers started to dig up emails that were sent within the Man City organization. They found enough evidence. They brought it to FIFA. Excuse me. And we all know that Man City was 115 charges, has been reduced to 114 charges now. One of the charges was brought against them, and the Premiership was incorrect. They had to walk that back and said, no, we can't even follow our own rules. Danny, you want to talk about this a little bit more. Let's talk about the Man City, and then we'll delve into the Chelsea bit.
So the Man City one is that's, I mean, if that goes through, in some semblance of it goes through, that's 115 financial rules charges, between the 2009 Premier League season and the 2018 Premier League season. And there's 5 different main charges that they've allegedly broken. The first one being that they did not disclose financial ruminations that were made to one of their managers over a 4-year period, suggesting that it was a secret contract, so the manager, Roberto Mancini, was getting paid than he was officially stated. The second one was they didn't comply with UEFA's financial fair play rules over a 5-year period, which is financial fair play, which is what you were talking about earlier on today. They weren't given accurate financial information that was true and fair with the club's financial position, in particular with respect to its revenue, including sponsorship revenue. Yep. They broke Premier League rules for profit and sustainability, the same thing that Everton. And then the last charge is that they did not fully cooperate with the Premier League under their investigation. So theirs is so much more extensive.
Now, before you go on, I do want to clarify, why was it 10 points, right? So just so everybody's aware, in August of this year, rules were put into place that if you aren't compliant with the EPL in your PSR, profit and sustainability, you will be docked 6 points, and then an additional point for every £5 million over you go. So Everton, to the tune of £20 million, were over, so that's 4 points of the original 6 for breaking the rules, and then an additional point for every $5 million, so they were docked 10 points. I've heard a couple of people in the Facebook group, and they said, well, if you were to dock Man City's points, that'd be 115 points. That's not how it works, guys. That's just not how it works. I don't know how much money, I don't think anybody really knows how much money they spent and then didn't make, and what the difference is, right? I think there's probably a little bit. Is it to the tune of 20 million, 200 million? We don't know. So There's a lot of clarity that needs to come into this.
Yeah, I think there's with 115 charges. What do those 115 financial charges relate to? And that's the bigger issue. I think based off. Well, there's a guy that was on TalkSport Radio. I forget his name now, and I did send it to you guys. Remember that he talked about the fact that what seems to be understood right now is that they're looking at relegation, basically. That the points deduction is so severe based off the charges if they go through that they're looking at relegation. So they're either looking at a severe 30 to 40 point deduction, or they're looking to be relegated into the championship for a season. So whether those charges go through or not, I don't know. The Chelsea one is very different.
Yep.
The Chelsea one is very different. It doesn't relate to profit and sustainability rules at all. It really is just really one reason why they're under investigation, and the reason why it's taking so long right now is that theirs is for potentially breaches of financial fair play under governing bodies examining secret payments made by companies relating to Chelsea's former owner Roman Abramovich between 2012 and 2019. And the payments appear to have benefited the club without being declared in annual accounts.
And the club is actually fighting it because no one in that administration is right now at the club.
Right.
So they're saying we didn't have anything to do with this. Doesn't matter. Still benefited the club and got them to where they are.
What was interesting during this research, and I was talking to, I got some information from Ben Jacobs, who is a correspondent for The Athletic, and what I found interesting, what he told me was that when Todd Boehly first took over the club in 2022, do you know how much money he set aside?
That was part of the contract, I believe. He had to set aside 1.5 billion, was it?
No, he had to set aside 100 million, or he indicated he was going to set aside 100 million to cover the cost of any potential financial investigation.
Oh, that I did not know. I knew he had to set aside money for players and upkeep of everything else, but there was 100 million part of the contract with Roman Abramovich that in case anything was penalized or found out.
He had to set up 100 million to pay lawyers for any financial investigation, which obviously he knew was coming.
Yeah.
So I found that really interesting.
So do we believe, boys here in the room and people, friends, viewers watching, do we believe the Premiership will take points away from Man City or Chelsea this season or next? Do we think that actually happens? And before you answer yes or no, don't forget, in a completely different league, but Juventus were relegated several years ago for cheating. Essentially, we'll just say that, So big clubs have been punished. Is the Premiership ready to step in and say, hey, you've won 7 of the last 8 Premierships, you've won X amount of FA Cups, you've done this, you've done that, you are our flagship club for the Premiership right now. See you later. Do you think the Premiership, viewers, let us know, put it in the comments. What are your thoughts? Does the Premiership do it? Don't tell me you want it to happen or you don't want it to happen. Do you believe the Premiership will? Boys, do we think it's going to happen?
I don't think that they'll have trophies taken away. I don't. I think they will hit them where it hurts, revenue. I don't think they'll take trophies away because I don't think with the players complicit in shady backdoor, financial dealings, and stuff that they weren't responsible for. No, they weren't. So I don't think they'll take trophies off them. I do believe that they'll hit them with a points deduction or expulsion from the Premier League.
Do you think that'll happen this year?
No, I don't think it'll happen this year.
Do you think it'll happen in the summer? So when it comes down, because now the Independent Council is they've started a.
I think it has to happen. They've already set a precedent.
Do you think it happens in the summer where they come back and say, hey, Premiership champions, Manchester City, see you later. You're now going to be relegated to the EFL?
I don't know. I don't know.
Nate, any thoughts on that?
Oh, it's 100% not going to happen.
Yeah.
So here's what's going to happen. Everton was slapped on the wrist. You guys said it. Quite frankly, just, right off the beginning, quite, elegantly that it's not going to really affect them. So they probably actually have a lot more on Everton. They probably said, hey, you're going to take your lump here. You're going to take it. You're going to enjoy it. And you guys don't worry, it's not going to cripple you. We won't cripple you, but we're going to give you a slap on the wrist. Season will end. Then admit to Chelsea and City will happen, and they'll get fined because the league's already over, and that'll be the end of it. And then the FA will pat themselves on the back and say, "Look, we did it. We did it. We're holding our we're holding our financial fair play. Look at us go, baby. Look at us go. Yeah, good job. Good job." Because here's the reality: there's a huge difference between Everton, who's struggling and has been struggling, and the money and power behind City and Chelsea, and City and Chelsea. And the fact is, they're playing in a different sandbox than the other guy, and everyone knows it. And that's it. And that's that.
Nate, that might be the smartest thing I've ever heard you say. Sorry, but that is. I actually agree with you.
Had a lot of barbecue.
I think actually, if there's any fines, I think it will be handed down in the summer. I think there will be a financial fine, maybe a small transfer embargo for a window or two, if anything further than that, another 10-point deduction. And I think Man City can overcome a 10-point deduction at any point.
There will be no point deductions.
Right. So that would be maximum for me. All right, now, Brooks, I don't know if we've got anybody who's saying that they think it will happen. I don't know if there's any comments on that, but it would be good. Has anybody said?
I got Benjamin in the group that's saying he wants it for both, so he's all for the point deduction and
Does
relegation.
he think it will happen? Just said he wants it.
Yeah. I don't think he really thinks he wants it, but he's not saying if it's going to happen or not.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, different comments. But I think people want this to happen.
Yeah.
They're not saying if it will or not.
All right, so now let's kind of bring this to a higher level. Can we all agree that financial fair play is absolute crap? If I let's say I win the multi-billion-dollar lottery tomorrow, boys, and I decide I'm going to buy Aston Villa. That's my club. I'm going to go buy them. You know what? I have now come into money. I've got several $1 billion. I should be able to do whatever the hell I want with the club. If I want to pay everybody $1 million a year or $10 million a year, if I want to go and offer $100 million a year to Pep Guardiola, I should be able to do that. It should be my choice. That's my thinking. No? Yes?
Well, financial fair play exists for the specific reason that clubs can't go out and spend astronomical amounts of money. They have to show that they've got revenue coming in to spend that money, right? Otherwise, they go into losses and they go into administration. The funny thing is, and nobody admit it, is I don't know if anybody saw this recently, but Man City, who are arguably the best team in the world at the minute, they can't fill the stadium. Okay? Let's just all agree on that. They cannot fill their stadium. But last week, they reported
a record
increase in revenue over the previous year.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Hold on now.
You can't fill your stadium.
You don't have to fill your stadium. Well, you got to fill your stadium a little bit, right? Agreed with you there. Shirt sales around the world, they have gone, if you think about it, they went from a club like this to a club like this. If you would have gone to China 12 years ago and said, Man City, they would have looked at you and said, who? What? No, they're red, right? Manchester United, they're red. Man City, what's that? They now, round parts of the world, they know they sell a lot more jerseys now. Yes, Brooks?
Jerseys don't do that for you. It's TV contracts and everything else. I don't believe jersey sales and everything do that for you.
Do you actually believe that Man City are in the same stratosphere as a Bayern Munich, a Man United, a Liverpool, a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, and a Juventus?
Yeah.
You actually believe that they're in that same stratosphere globally?
Right now, they are very close. They're very close. They're very close because they have someone who just finished second in the Ballon d'Or. They have Kevin De Bruyne. They have players who are very recognizable around the world, just like. They won the Champions League. I'm not
just talking about recognition. I'm talking about an institution of football, history. I'm talking about a
mean,
historical value.
History has
They
to
are
start
n-
somewhere.
They are nowhere near that. Nowhere near that.
No, you are absolutely right. They do not have the history of it. But they are gaining new fans like crazy. I will say that if they came out and said that this is what we've just made in the past year, with everything that's being looked down upon, I bet you their books are right. I bet you they're not going to fib on the books now with everything that's been going through in the last several years and them being under investigation like this. But that doesn't answer my question, Danny. Do you think it's crap? It's crap. If I'm an owner of a club, I should be able to spend whatever I want to spend on it.
Well,
Nate?
because the rich get rich and the rich get richer.
Yeah,
Right, Brooks?
but that's if you want to do that, Nate. What's your thoughts? I mean,
So do we agree that there's no utopia in life?
definitely no utopia.
There's no utopia in life, right?
Right.
No Brooks, no utopia? None? Doesn't exist.
Right.
All right. So you have now then two options. Or a third, if you want, with this US model. But let's stay out of the US model. You have
stay away from that.
Okay. So you have the German model, which has huge, heavy restrictions. You can't do what you're just saying, Craig. You can't just come in and slap a bunch of cash down there. You'll get tossed out of leagues. Germans don't care. The result of that is a Bayern Munich dominance of 10 years.
Sure.
That's the negative, right? You got teams that actually have to work up. You got teams that have to find creative ways because they can't spend the money. You got players that get developed. You got young players that get a chance. You know, it is a overseas market. If you're younger and you want to get some first-team opportunities and break through, that's where to do it because they can't spend the money. But then the downside of that is a one-team league or a dominant one-team league, and you see it in Italy and you see it in Spain. Or you have the other side of the coin where I can create a club out of thin air because I'm just going to dump a bunch of money in it. City, Bowley, that's what they're trying to do now. Various clubs do that. Here's my big chunk of cash, Newcastle. Here we go, and we're going to roll. So I don't think that it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea to say you're going to enforce something and then don't do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So either get rid of it or adhere to actual standards like Germany does. So that's your choice.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And there's pros and cons between the two. There's positives and negatives.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not be a hypocrite about this and pick what you'd rather have. And some people rather have the honesty of an actual financial fair play that's heavily enforced. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Some people go, no, that's boring because the risk is you could result in a one-league team. And you know what? If Sheik a la Craig Hearn.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I know. You like that? Yeah. Wants to go and invest all his gajillions in the Villa,
Which I do.
which you do, and make him the starting striker surrounded by really big superstars that will just feed him the ball so he doesn't have to run,
Which I would.
which you would, then that's what it is.
Right. So, Brooks, you had something to say there, my
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, this is just a thing. I mean, we deal this with NCAA sports, right? It's either, we're dealing with multiple things with U of M and their stuff right now, and I'm not trying to sidetrack it from soccer, but it's either bring the hammer down or, don't do anything at all, right? Like, you can give partial infractions, you can do certain things, but Nate's got a point is if you're going to set a precedent, like they did for Juventus in Serie A, it's either you do it or you got to go back to the board and rethink of how you do things because that's just the reality of this. And I mean, listen, I like parity. I like MLS. I like different teams winning. I get sick and tired of teams winning leagues every year in Europe. I think it gets boring. And they buy all the players and they just backload their bench. And I think it's awful, honestly, for a lot of players' careers because they go after trophies, not like actual want to have produce good careers. And I think that hurts the game, honestly. I think you have a lot more great players if they just wanted to go out and do the best they could rather than try to sit around and just win trophies.
So the one thing I'll say is, last thing we'll say on this is, I don't know if anybody knows this, but you know who brought financial fair play to FIFA and the big leagues. Do you know who did this?
The big clubs?
The very big clubs. Do you know why? Because they didn't want the little clubs spending a lot of money. They didn't want the little clubs being bought up by someone like me, who goes, I just bought a little club and now I'm going to buy everybody and anybody and pay them what I want and raise up and become a big club. The big clubs wanted to remain a big club, and they wanted the little clubs that had little earnings to not be able to spend as much.
Correct.
So it was the big clubs who came up with this. Now it's the big clubs who are continuing to find ways to cheat.
Well, it's like the federal tax system here in the United States. It's like who makes the big stuff? The rich people, and the rich people get their way, and that's how it is just for anything. So there you go.
You're not wrong. All right, lots more to get to today. Why don't we move on? We'll talk about that U.S. men's national team game on Thursday night against the world powerhouse of Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, the two countries, two islands, actually. So I spent Thursday night actually talking to someone who's from Trinidad and Tobago. And she asked me in and around the 80th minute, she goes, so what's the score? And in her very thick Trinidad and Tobagan accent. And I said, it's 0-0. She threw her hands in the air and she did a little dance and she said, USA, you guys just suck. This is not, I cannot believe it. And then I said, well, hold on. Stop your dancing. It's 1-0. Oh, no, stop your dancing again. It's 2-0. Oh, yeah, I hate to tell you this, but it's 3-0, and that's how it finished. Nate, I do want your thoughts on this. What you were at the game, my friend. So what was the atmosphere like, and how was it?
It was actually pretty good. I think in the beginning it took a minute for everyone to fill the stands. I looked around and went, this sucks. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, there's everyone from the concession stands. The problem is let me tell you how to work SeatGeek here. Let me tell you if you're going to see a game within a town.
Please do tell.
So what you want to do, unless it's a highly sought after game, is what I did, is basically monitor that thing like a hawk, right? I'm on there 3 times a day just looking for the leads. So we ended up going to the prestigious Lexi Club.
Ooh, that sounds
Lexi Club.
Fancy, Nate.
Oh, it was fancy.
What?
Double door checks, baby. Private bathrooms, leather couches.
Whoa.
Leather
Couches?
Oh, yeah.
In the stadium?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Private food area.
How much?
Stadiums are like this now, Craig.
How
That's just
much?
how it is.
How much are we paying this guy to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Guess how much I bought those tickets for?
Please do tell.
90,
Dan?
you said? Sorry, I ruined it.
Oh, Brooks.
You put it in the group chat. I'm sorry.
Danny, pretend your headset wasn't working. How much do you think I paid for those tickets, Danny?
$15.
Son of a bitch. All right. Craig, how much do you think I paid for those
it
tickets,
$15?
Craig?
Well, there was leather couches and
Yeah.
2 double doors.
Yeah.
And
Private
you
bathrooms,
said a private bathroom.
two private bars,
What?
2 private food areas.
Wait. And there was no lines at the bars.
No lines at the bar. Very small
You
lines.
must be looking at like $300 or $400 a ticket.
You would think that.
I do think that.
$80.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I was about 5th row off the field from the center. So it was quite solid tickets.
I didn't see you on TV. I tried to find you.
That's because we were in the rich people section. They don't. They pan the cameras over to the poors, Brooks. They don't pan the cameras over to the rich people eating their brisket barbecued aioli sandwiches.
That sounds really
Sipping.
good. Was it
Out
good?
of our,
In
it was
England-
$20, Brooks.
In England, we call that the prawn sandwich brigade. by the
yeah.
way.
It was fancy.
Look like a good meat pie in England, you know?
Oh yeah, but you can't get
So-
that in Austin. Actually, you probably can. So how was the game, Nate? What were the thoughts on the actual game?
Didn't see it. Where I was at the. No, I was eating sandwiches and then I sitting couches the whole time. What? Game? There was a game on?
You fell asleep, I think.
Yeah, too much alcohol. My brother's walking distance from the stadium. Dangerous. So no, it was good. It was good. Met up with the American Outlaws over there.
Very nice.
you
All
know.
right, so let's actually talk about your thoughts on the game. I've heard a lot of people say, I'll wait to give my thoughts, but listen, it took 80 minutes to score against Trinidad and Tobago, who had 10 men.
Okay.
So,
But they didn't go to 10 men until like around 70th minute.
so Trinidad and Tobago didn't offer much.
No.
Where was the problem? Are we looking at tactics? Are we looking at players not executing? Are we looking at just poor finishing? What are your thoughts on what was the issue? Was there an issue?
Why is it a USA problem?
I don't know. I'm asking. What do you?
I don't think it was.
All right.
I mean, you have one shot from Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
Not even on net. One.
Correct.
One shot. A shot. And then you had 75% possession, 26 shots, 8 on target. Sounds like a team that sat and packed a box.
Oh, absolutely they did, right?
So is it any surprise that the USA scored in the 81st minute, and then after they were down 1-0, Trinidad was forced to go out because now it's like, okay, we're down, and there's 2 legs, and then 2-3 other goals pop in within minutes afterwards.
Right.
What,
I mean,
you
it's
think
just-
they were really saving it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a stupid foul by Noah Powder. I mean, it was just that. I mean, going down to 10 men didn't help him. But
No, but that's
Yeah.
what happened. You broke in. You know, they were not the superior team. They sat in the whole time. They tried. I think they legitimately tried to go at them in the beginning, and Vickers and Ream just ate them alive. And through them eating them alive, and then them having no answer to actually prevent them from carrying the ball down the field, Musa had 89 passes with a 97% accuracy in that game.
Did well in the middle of the field there, yeah.
Yeah, they dominated all the way into the attacking third.
Okay.
Possession, everything like that. And I think after that, they shied away and just packed in and said, we're just going to brace for impact, and maybe we can get 0-0, take it back home to Trinidad or Tobago.
Either one, right?
Either one. And hopefully try to get a sneaky goal like they've done in the past. I mean, we've seen it before.
And then once the first goal went in, the floodgates opened.
Yeah,
right?
and that's where you had
Three,
one
right?
go in, and then they had to come out a little bit, and then bam, 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 2
Right.
more going in. I will say I think Pepe's a better forward than Bellion.
Yeah,
I think
not gonna
he's
disagree
way
there,
more
yeah.
creative, and I
Yeah.
think it's not surprising that you put him in, and he scores.
Different type of forward, but correct with the assessment right now. Brooks, your thoughts there?
yeah, I mean, no, I agree with that. It was a pure dominance. I thought, I mean, Vickers and Ream didn't have much to do, but when they had stuff to do, it was clean. Our outside backs got forward. Dust was good, and Robinson in the final third. It's just over and over again with when you dominate these teams in possession, and just the sheer lacking laziness of off the ball movement, and I just think it's over tactics from Berhalter. That's my opinion. It's we got to do this, you got to do that, you got to be there, and there are a couple clips I saw honestly from on social media that they had Berhalter just like sitting and explaining to Tim Ream and everyone that, hey, like, this needs to be this, it needs to be that, and it's too overcoaching. Just let them play. Just let them play. They're professional players. Just let them solve issues, and the off the ball movement and such will come from that if you let them think for themselves. But honestly, it shouldn't have taken to the 80th minute, in my opinion, for them to score a goal. It should have been. They should have had 1 or 2 in the first half, and that it should have been a 5-0 game. But hey, hands off to the Trinidad Tobago keeper. He was really good that game.
Unbelievable. Nate, you look like you wanted to say something there, my friend. Counterpoint or agreeing with?
I disagree. I mean, I don't think he's stifling them. I think you had Destin Robinson laying in crosses. Now, here's where I would say the biggest problem I see is if you have a team that's packing in a box and a guy who's not good in the air, eventually you're going to this is where my argument to bring in someone like Brennan Vasquez, someone who's 6'4", put him in that center there, because you had, I guess my only gripe would be stop crossing the ball if that guy can't get it in the air, right? And go away from that. And, okay, maybe he was stuck too much in that.
Mm-hmm.
But at a certain point, you're laying in cross after cross after cross. No one's really at the other end of it. If you want to play that game, you might want to get someone who's big in the air who can handle that, and that was clearly what they were trying to do there.
Sure.
And it wasn't successful. Sure. It wasn't. They were 3 out of 12.
Right.
Des was 3 out of 12. Not successful, and it wasn't because he was crossing them in bad.
Correct.
Right.
So
I agree with you. If you're going to get that 100%. Like, if Balogun is not the guy that's going to be in the air. It's got to be Vasquez, or Pepe is decent in the air at times. My counter argument to that is you don't have the players that they need to play the way that Berhalter wants to. I like Gio Reyna. I like Weston McKennie. I like Yunus Musa. But they're not Spanish-esque type of players where they can sit in tight spaces, turn, and play very quickly. Like, they did at times, but they have a very tough time when people get compact to get out of tight spaces and to play very quickly, and their off-the-ball movement's poor. It's just, you have to, again, I agree. If you should have brought in a Vasquez, it would have made a difference. 100% would have. Brandon Vasquez would have. And a Ricardo Pepe probably would have made a little difference too, because he's a better player in the air. Balogun is not that guy. He's going to check down, play back to goal. You want to combine off him. He's going to want to run him behind. So, and agreed. We haven't had a good striker in a long time, honestly, probably since Altidore. That's really been good in the air and that you can play service to. So, I'm 100% with you, but I don't think they have the midfielders when the game gets compact to play the way Berhalter wants to play.
Interesting. Nate, counterpoint, good. I want to talk about the upcoming game that they're going to play on Monday.
I think they dominated the mid to where Tobago couldn't get out of the half.
Yeah.
If you're going to cross the ball in, you need someone at the end of their end of it. And that's actually how the first goal happened with Pepe.
Pepe came in and gave it a little.
He was on the other end of it, and he hit it with a back heel and did something there. So it's like, okay, and then they were forced to get out and go, and then you could actually play a little bit. And so that's always been my issue with Berhalter. So we're saying the same thing, but a little bit different. Where that I just don't think they got. I think they dominated the midfield like all the way through, and Trinidad Tobago couldn't get out. I will agree that they didn't change. He didn't change a tactic, and that's often what the issue is he doesn't change things and just keeps going. And it's like, keep crossing the ball in. Well, no one's doing anything on that.
There's no off-the-ball movement or you have someone for service.
So if that's not working, and it's not maybe a fault to the players because maybe those guys aren't the type of guys who are going to do it, then that's when you have to change things up or go, hey, wait a minute. There's 10 guys standing in the box, cross the ball into us because we're a man down. We're good with it, and we're just going to clear it and knock it out of the air and then try to get out a little bit. Right. We're just going to pack it in, and they failed it. They failed to adjust, as always.
Well,
would be my criticism.
In a very unique situation, USA now play Trinidad and Tobago again tomorrow, Monday, at 7 o'clock, this time in Trinidad and Tobago. The game at 7 p.m. Eastern Time at Hasley Crawford Stadium. Now, boys, do we think that I'm going to say right now, I don't put any of they won 3-0. They got out of there with a result. Was it pretty? No, not really. They got out of there with a result. I don't put anything on the coach on this anything. I think the Trinidad and Tobago packed it in. The crosses were there. The players, I think, were very poor in their finishing. They need to get better. Now, as I said, 7 p.m. Monday night, USA travel down to Trinidad and Tobago. Who do we leave starts? Does Balogun get the start up top again, or does he start with Pepe? Because to be honest, I think it needs to be Pepe. I think, Nate, you are right. Right now, he is the go-to player. He's scored like 5 goals in his last 7 appearances coming off the bench for the USA. The El Train savior right now. He has come off the bench to score goals in big situations in the last several games. I think he needs to get the start. I would love to see him get the start here. I don't know if Trinidad and Tobago are going to sit in at home like they did down at Q2 Stadium in Austin. It'll be interesting to see who he starts. I heard someone say they would love to see Brendan Aronson get a start instead of, I forget who they wanted to replace. I don't know. Brooks, what's your thoughts?
Well,
same lineup, or Nate, go ahead. Yeah.
You can go to Brooks, but clearly they have to have a new midfielder because McKennie went home.
That's right. He was injured. He pulled out injured today officially, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. Who, by the way, played very well. I thought he did a very good job in that game. Yeah, I thought he played very
created
well.
the most chances out of anyone in the game.
Unfortunately, with an injury. Sorry, Brooks, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. So for me, I thought Aronson, I think, changed the game a bit when he came in. I thought because he is not an out-and-out winger, he is a guy that wants to come inside the game. And having played as an attacking center mid for his days at the Philadelphia Union, he was very comfortable coming into the half spaces, turning, and quickly shooting. The guys they have that were starting weren't extremely comfortable with that, in my opinion. That's not Paredes' game. Paredes is a wing-back winger that likes to play wide and take guys on. And then on the right side, I'm blanking, Nate. Who was on the right side to start for them? Tillman, yeah.
Who's actually more of an attacking.
Yeah, and he honestly hasn't been super impressive to me. I thought he's lacked quality, in my opinion. I think Aaronson's fine. I would actually like to see Zendejas in. I think both of those guys, they can come inside the game. They can offer a little more, get the outside backs forward, just to overload the midfield a bit. I don't think this is a game. If you're going to be a wide out-and-out player, you got to beat your player and make a difference in the game. But if you're going to beat your player and get to the end line, that's where the movement has to happen from your forward or midfielder. So I like to see Aronson in. That'd be nice, and Zendejas as well. Maybe Paxton gets in the midfield since McKennie's out.
I'm going to disagree on Paxton, but Nate, your thoughts on that?
My top 5.
Go for it.
What Nate would like to see coming up. And I do have to make an argument, though. Padres may have played an outside back when he was here. He plays left mid for Wolfsburg. But, anywho, Pepe to start.
Yep, agreed.
Full stop. Only to start and replace McKinney.
Yep.
I think he's
Okay.
wasted on the bench. Get him in. I think he would be. I want to see him to start and see how he really does, linking up with some of the other midfielders there, Reyna and Musa.
Okay.
And I would like to see him over the Harrison, at least to start, just to get him in.
Yep.
And he's a defensive midfielder anyway, so you already have 3-0. I'm assuming we're doing aggregates. Hopefully I'm right. Brooks, aggregates on this? I think so, right? Best.
No.
It's got to be.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is.
So-
Because the winner goes to play in the Copa America for
Right.
this.
So aggregates in play. You're up by 3. Throw a defensive midfielder in who can control the game. At some point, I'd like Joe Scully to come in. Don't care when. Don't care how. Richards or Robinson over Ream.
Yeah.
Tired of it.
Yep. Agreed.
Tired of it. Sorry, he had a good game, but you know what? It's time to give someone else. Let's see how it goes. Especially with Vickers doing so well, I'd like to see Vickers stay in. And I'd like to see him lean up with someone. And then, yes, Padres out. Padres or Tillman
Right,
out,
it is.
and then get and then throw Brendan Arison, either as the attacking mid with Reyna out left or right, depending on who you really can. And I think Padres maybe needs to step a second, or vice versa. I don't care.
I think
Figure it out.
Gio's better as a free roaming winger. I don't like him centrally. I think he plays as a free roaming winger, if I'm not mistaken, for Dortmund as well. And every time I've seen
Plays
him
more
play,
I thought he played more central.
every time I've seen him play for Dortmund, when he's coming inside the game and he can combine, that's the best when I see him.
Years past, Brooks is 100% right. This year, he's been subbing in and out for Marco Royce, just this last few bit.
Yeah.
So that's where I say I don't really care. You do either or to me.
Yep.
Figure it out. One of those two.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very true. All right, boys. Well, we'll find out tomorrow as USA take on Trinidad and Tobago, 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right, we've got a lot to get to. We are going to come back. We're talking about USA women and their new head coach. We're talking about Premier League, the resurgence of Liverpool, and the games coming back after the break. That's next weekend. We're talking about France's game with Gibraltar, and I'm pretty sure Nate and I are going to get into it on that. We've got some opposing views. So, listen, we've got a lot to get to. We'll be right back.
Tempo, yes, drop out, good. Yes, touch play, right foot, yes. Scan, good. Touch in, play, drop your hip, right, yes, good scan. Yes. Jay, well done. Get side on touch. Play, see it, yes.
All right. Thanks for coming back. Hopefully you're still with us, friends. U.S. Women's National Team have a new coach. They have hired Emma Hayes away from Chelsea. Ooh, illustrious Chelsea. Yes, Emma Hayes actually has pretty much won everything in the game. She's highly, highly regarded as a coach here. and over in Europe. The great thing is she's now on the new U.S. Women's National Team coach. No matter who it was going to be on par with Greg Berhalter, the men's coach, salary-wise, $1.79 million per year. This is a good thing. I like the fact that this hire, it's just not. I don't think anybody saw it coming, to be honest. I think Matt Crocker, what's his sporting director, correct? The sporting director for U.S. Soccer, went out and did a full search, interviewed quite a few candidates, and this is the one he came back with and offered the money to, and I think it's a good thing. The only bad piece about this is, till the remainder of her season with Chelsea, she will be coaching Chelsea and doing a dual job of U.S. Women's and Chelsea. So a little sad there, but that's okay. It might affect some run-up to the Olympics coming up in the summer, but you know what? That's okay. Danny, I know you know a little bit about Emma Hayes and what she's done over at Chelsea, but this is a good hire by all accounts, is it not?
Yeah, it is. It is. I think, she's obviously won everything in the game at Chelsea, and it was widely regarded. She just had a kid not too long ago, a son, and she'd put so much into the game of football over the last 15 years, especially in England, and when she first started over here. So I think this is a great appointment for her. What I didn't know is that she coached Division I collegiate soccer at Iona College.
Yeah. She's coached over here quite a bit.
In New Rochelle, in New York for 4 years, before she went into the pro realms and helped construct the Western New York Flash that won the league title in 2011.
Was she the assistant coach over there in New York?
I think she was. I think she was a consultant and a coach.
Okay.
So I think she might have been the assistant, but. No, I think it's a great appointment for her. She's got a big job on her hands for sure.
Yeah.
It seems to be obviously the end of an era with, players like Rapinoe, Julie Ertz, Ali Krieger all retiring this year. But you hope, and she will do it, and that's one of the biggest. That's one of the big things that I'm looking forward to because, we look at Chloe Ricketts, right? Being a young girl. She's very, very high on young players. So you hope like. Trinity Rodman, Alyssa Thompson, Michelle Cooper, Sophia Smith, they're all in good hands with Hayes, and then you hope that it's kind of like a switching of the guard in a way, so hopefully she brings in a lot of youngsters into the squad.
I think this is the best time that this could have happened. I think U.S. women's soccer right now is at, I wouldn't say an all-time low, but they're in definitely a dip, right? The way they were knocked out of the World Cup. They didn't perform really well. It didn't look good. They didn't really have an identity. There was no style. But what we do know is there's as you just heard Danny say, there's a whole bunch of young players out there that just need to get into the system, be identified, and then have a style and a pattern of play taught to them that this is how we are going to move forward. I think Emma Hayes is actually the right person to do this. I think it's a brilliant hire. Brooks?
Comment from Dan Wolka. So,
Danny, how are you?
The days of players getting a spot on the U.S. Women's National Team roster based on name should be over. You play well, you're picked, you stink, you don't get called in.
Dan, I think that's 100% going to happen with Emma Hayes because you know what? I don't think she gives a toss who these players are and what their name is. If they're not performing at the highest level, they're not going to be coming in and they are not going to be playing. And this is, as you heard Danny Price say, this is a changing of the guard.
There won't be any player power with her.
No.
She's too well known. She's too successful. She's going to come in. She's got, it's like, when like Jose Mourinho or Pep Guardiola took over the national team, you've got a big figure coming in there, to overtake. And coming into the dressing room, it can be a bit of a daunting thing. So, I'm actually looking forward to this appointment, really. Because the U.S. women's team has fallen some distance behind other European countries in terms of football.
Absolutely.
So, hopefully she can get them back to playing where they're competitive.
Time for U.S. women's soccer to catch up to the rest of the world. 10 years ago, I bet you didn't think you'd ever hear that. But I think this is the right appointment. So congratulations to Emma Hayes. Congratulations to U.S. Soccer for the correct hire. I think it is phenomenal. You're on your way back, and it's just step one. All right, moving on. U.S. Soccer, U.S. U17, U.S. Youth national team. They are playing right now. Brooks, this is all you, buddy. What's going on with the U17s? Give a whole rundown, because I don't think a lot of people know what's going on.
Sure. Yeah. So the U17 in Indonesia, U17 World Cup's in Indonesia right now. So that's currently taking place. So the U.S. have beaten the Korean Republic and Burkina Faso. So they were on 6 points, and France was on 6 points as well coming into this past Saturday's game. So obviously they had advanced with France. So those two have advanced. So they were playing for spots essentially of, whoever finishes first place here and whoever finishes second place here. So 3-0 result for France over the US U17s. You could definitely tell just the physicality of the player, how big they are, with everything. So, it's just the 17s, for as how much we really developed players, I think weren't bad, but they were lacking a little bit, to be honest with you.
How do the 17s look? Because the 17s in a couple of years are going to be the 19s, the 20s, and the 21s.
Yeah.
How do they look, and how are they comparable grade-wise to the rest of the world that we're seeing right now?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have a couple guys. So, I mean, go over the starters here. So we have Harangi, which the starting right back for Eintracht Frankfurt's U19s. Banks plays for Augsburg's U19s. That's the right center back. Stuart Hawkins, an academy player for the Seattle Sounders. Reed Brown, left back for Orlando City. Corcoran, who was formerly at FC Dallas, is now playing for Birmingham Legion USL Championship, which I like to see that because he's playing against older guys and he's a younger player. And I think he's in the 16 age, not quite the 17. Cruz Medina, who's been playing a lot with the San Jose second team, and he's gotten some minutes with the first team, has been doing well. Taha Habron, who's with the Crew 17s, who's with the Crew 2, so that's the other starting midfielder. Then the up top. So Micah Burton, who's with Austin FC 2 from Minnesota, the state of Minnesota, has been doing well. He's been playing a lot with the second team as well as the 17s. And then David Vasquez, the starting left winger, Philly Union kid, doing well, playing a lot for the second team. And then Bryce Jamison, Barca Academy kid out of Casa Grande, Arizona, and now at Orange County in USL.
So you're telling me 8 of the 11 starters are playing here in the USA, either MLS, USL, or below, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Not all the young talent is heading overseas.
Correct.
Some of them are staying here. They're progressing, and this team is good enough. Are they good enough to win this, Brooks?
So they have Germany. Saw the result. They lost 3-0 to France. So they have matching them with Germany on Tuesday. So that's going to be a very tough game. I struggled to see them just because of the physicality of the players we have, plus of the results from the Saturday game.
Sure.
So Tyler Hall, the Inter Miami Academy player, red card as he was subbed on. Banks got another yellow card, so yellow card accumulation. He won't be playing. And then there was one other player. Rudisil came off the bench and got a yellow card, so he won't be playing as well. So they're going to have to shift around a lot of players to compete with this German U17 team, which is going to be tough. So, there were a lot of the bench players played in this match. They didn't start a lot of the starters, which is fine. Everyone's going to play. It's a U17 World Cup. That's just how it works at these younger age groups.
Yep.
I like to see, though, a little more better play in the final third. They had chances, but they need to put them away. Cruz Medina had a nice open opportunity off a cross from Vasquez, and he needs to bury that shot. It's 2-1 at that point, so they could have been kept in the game. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen. France had a good first goal at the end of the second half, a turnover about wide, and then a good cross in the box, in the 6-yard box, where a guy put that away. And then the other ones were just kind of silly that were off turnovers from the USA, how France scored their second and third goals. So
USA plays against Germany on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll see. Where can we watch that game, Brooks? Where
that's
can we watch these?
FS1.
FS1.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see how they do there. That's going to be real telling because we know the Germans are actually very organized and very good. So we'll see how they do there. I think right now we're going to skip to the topic of NCAA soccer, because it kind of leads in from that 17th. A lot of those players, as you heard now, or as you heard Brooks just talking about, they play for the first or second team of an MLS club, or they play at USL Championship level, or USL 1. They are playing in those levels, so they are skipping college soccer, but the NCAA tournament is firing up right now. Local team here, Western Michigan, Chad Wiseman and his Western Michigan team just today beat Duke.
Yeah.
Correct? I mean, and now they play Notre Dame on Tuesday or Thursday, you said?
No, I think the game will be next weekend.
Oh, it'll be next
So
weekend?
it'll be a Saturday or
Oh,
Sunday.
got a full week off.
Yeah.
Good for them. Hey, Chad and the Chad Wiseman coach and Western Michigan team, well done, boys. That's fabulous to see. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I know the entire state of Michigan is rooting you guys on. It is phenomenal to see. So congratulations there. I got a couple of buddies actually. Scott Duell, Giuseppe Ianni, who went and played at Western, so they're following along big time.
Yeah.
It's
I think
fun to watch them.
A lot of programs are really overlooking this Western Michigan team, to be honest with you. It's I was talking a lot of the parents of the players, and it was the last week, and I was telling them, you have a chance to beat Duke. I mean, the ACC beats up on each other, throughout the whole entire season, but Western Michigan had a chance, and boy, they went down, 1-0 in the first half. It was a late goal in the first half, but they kept in there. They're a good physical team. They play some good soccer. And, you get one off a corner. You get a little one that's an own goal that got deflected in. Sometimes luck needs to go your way. And then what a goal from Charlie Sharp to seal the 2-1 victory off the header. The 6'7" FC Dallas Academy player, goalkeeper Julian Eyestone, who will eventually sign with FC Dallas's first team after this season or the next season.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Also, big congratulations as their season unfortunately comes to an end. Coach Jeff Hosler and the the MSU women's soccer team, they advanced to the Sweet 16 and unfortunately lost to BYU 3-1 last night. But what a season! What an absolutely phenomenal season Coach Jeff Hosler and his women's team have had. Second year in a row, they've won the Big Ten. They have blown away everybody's expectations with how far they've gone, the soccer that they've played. It has been incredible. So it's unfortunate that the season comes to an end like that, but well done, Coach Jeff Hosler and the he did it again, and the MSU women's team. I know you watched that game. Just outmatched a little bit, right, with the speed and athleticism of that.
Yeah, you could tell that. I mean, they have some good players, and I'm sure Jeff's gonna get some more transfers and recruit some more top players in. They're not quite there yet, but listen, that's a great accomplishment. The first time the program's ever made the Sweet 16, so that's a huge accomplishment for Jeff. So congratulations, and I'm looking forward to seeing them progress even further into the tournament next year.
I bet you they go further next year. I bet you they'll get a couple of recruits in. I bet you more young ladies will get there. And Jeff Hosler and his coaching staff will really start to really ingrain that playing style that he wants. And third year into the program, I bet you he's able to take that program further next year. I wonder if I could bet on that in DraftKings. I have to look that up.
I don't know if you can.
Probably not, but you never know.
Yeah.
All right, we have a lot to get to, actually. There's a new offside rule coming, or a new version of the offside rule. Is it new, or is it the old style? Danny and I will talk about that. I think you're going to have two differing opinions. We've got two forwards, and a forward and a midfielder versus a defender and a goalie here in this room. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the games that are coming back into the EPL next weekend. 2 or 3 games that we're really looking forward to. We'll pick the results that we believe will happen there. We got some news. Did Man United's goalie get injured? Where's David De Gea going to end up next year? We've got a lot to get to here. And by the way, Colorado's got a new coach. I know Brooks is going to want to talk about that, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But why don't right now, if you can, get yourself some peanuts, get yourself a refill, and we'll be right back.
Hi, Brooks. We're at our favorite store, Soccer World in Rochester. We're just going to do some light shopping. Nothing big. Ooh, pretty colors. Oh, and one of these too?
Ooh, Germany. Nate would like this.
Hey, Brooks, look at all these. Look what I got.
South America. Ooh, wow, that's not MLS. Ugh.
Socks? No.
Ooh, a ball pump. Next in line.
Sir, you're next.
Right. That's a mannequin, you know that.
Huh? Oh,
Mannequin.
oh. Sorry, sir.
Hug, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Huh?
All right, we're back. I do want to say a big thank you to some of our sponsors. A big thank you, as you saw there, to Soccer World. That was Brooks and I having fun at the Rochester location. Listen, Soccer World they have 3 locations here in Metro Detroit, but you can find them online at soccerworld.net. They have all your soccer needs, soccer gear needs. Thank you to Next Level Training. They are the best trainers in the country. There's a reason that U.S. National Team players and NWSL players and a bunch of other MLS players, they all fly into town here and train with Aaron and his guys. Next Level Training, the best around. Thank you to Dog and Pony Show Brewing. By the way, we are going to be out at Dog and Pony Show Brewing next Sunday, a week from today, 9 a.m. It's Aston Villa versus Tottenham. We'll talk about that game in a minute, but we are going to be there. Dog and Pony Show Brewing, they're going to be open early for us. That could be a really big game. It's going to be fun. There should be a lot of people come join in. Thank you to the Michigan Jags. My kids have been playing with the Jags today. They did what they call Jags 5 futsal. I love it. I think it's great. Tight quarters. It's a futsal, so it's a duller ball that they play with indoors on a court. Absolutely love it. My youngest, Aston, yes, his name is Aston. My youngest son, he's 5 years old, plays in the Junior Jags. I don't know why we gave him that name. Not really sure. We'll get to it, but thank you again to our sponsors. Appreciate it. All right, you did just hear me talk about Aston Villa versus Tottenham. That game's on the Sunday, but there's a couple of games beforehand. We're coming back. I want to put up the table right now, if I can find it here. Here is the current EPL table as it sits. Man City there on 28 points in first. Liverpool, 27 points. This is after 12 games everybody's played. That brings up the top 2. Arsenal there in third on 27, only behind on goal difference by a goal. Then you've got Tottenham, who've fallen off a little bit. Ange Postecoglou, by the way, won 3 straight Premiership Manager of the Month awards. His first 3. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. Someone needs to look that up. And then you've got Villa in 5th on 25 points. Manchester United right behind in 6th on 21. And rounding up the top 7 there, which is the European spots, is Newcastle in 7th on 20 points. Down the bottom, as we said, Burnley. Burnley are bad this year. They are bad. Negative 21 goal difference on 4 points. They got 1 win, 1 draw, and 10 losses. And after their 10-point deduction, they are on 4 points now, negative 3 goal difference. I tell you what, again, we said it earlier, Everton, you're just freaking lucky that there are worse teams than you this year, because right in front of you is Sheffield United, who have 1 win, 2 draws, 9 losses on 5 points, and Luton Town, 1 win, 3 draws, 8 losses, 6 points. I definitely think Burnley, Sheffield United, and Luton are headed down this year. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the games coming back. First game, docket, 7:30 Eastern Time, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Saturday. We've got Manchester City versus Liverpool. Boys, this game is at the Etihad, or as Danny likes to call it, the Emptyhad. Danny, you know you like to call it that. Don't give me that look. Listen, this game, this is this could really put both of these teams into another stratosphere here. I think the winner of this game goes on and gets real confidence, because this is a huge game. Unfortunately, most of the players on these teams are away playing on international duty, and they probably won't be back in town till Wednesday. By the way, Szoboszlai, the new midfielder for Liverpool, scored, as Nate pointed out today, a wondrous goal. The man is a magician and a hell of a player. What a player they have picked up there. Boys, I'm looking forward to this game. I'm getting up bright and early for this one. You guys going to do the same?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Liverpool have resurgence right now. Endo, Szoboszlai, Darwin Núñez, who looks to be settling in. Salah playing absolutely fantastic, scoring goals. What's crazy is Liverpool have played so well. We haven't still yet seen the best of McAllister and Diaz.
Right. Yep.
So they're not leaking goals either. So I feel very confident saying, based on how they're playing, that this could be the season that Liverpool give City a closer run. Test will come this weekend where they go to the Etihad. The Etihad.
Naughty. Just kidding.
When they go to the Etihad. So we'll really get to see whether Liverpool can challenge this season. I'm actually going to go with a Liverpool 2-1 win this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
2-1. They're going to go to Man City, and you think they're going to come away?
I do.
Wow. That is... Okay, so let me ask you this. Both of these teams, when they play against a Luton, a Burnley, a Sheffield United, teams, an Everton, teams that are down there at the bottom of the table, and Nottingham Forest, they sit in. Those teams sit in against them. Man City are very used to it. They say, okay, yeah, we understand how this is going to work. You're going to sit in. You're going to try break out 4 or 5 times in the entire game, trying to slot one past us. This worked for Wolves. Wolves beat Man City 2-1, 2 breakaways. Other than that, possession was like 80% to Man City. Liverpool like to play a game where they lure teams in, and they like to do a little bit of the breaking out and playing. They're not really that Man City type. So do Liverpool go to Man City this weekend, Danny, and do they sit in? Do they sit in and say, go ahead, have possession high. We're going to try win the little battles as you get into that final third, and then try to break out with Salah and Diaz and Jota?
No, I don't think they do.
No?
No.
You think they're going to play their game?
I don't think Klopp's afraid of Pep.
I don't think he should be.
I don't think he's afraid of him at all. I think Liverpool will go there. Liverpool will play on the front foot, I think, this weekend. I think they're playing well. There's no reason for him to sit in, and they're not leaking goals. They've got good possession of the ball. They're playing good football. I don't see any reason for Liverpool to sit in. And to be honest with you, that the front three of Liverpool is more frightening than City's front three, in my opinion.
So let's talk about that front three. So you've got Salah, Diaz,
Jota.
And excuse me, who?
Jota.
Diego Jota. And behind them, you've got McAllister and Soboslai. Mm-hmm. For Man City, obviously, you've got Erling Haaland, Julian Alvarez, and let's say Doku.
Yeah.
And behind them,
Rodri,
and then Foden, who can sit in there. I think it's very comparable. The only where I see the difference in this game right now is, as you said, Liverpool aren't exactly leaking goals. Where Man City, this is the weakest I believe I've ever seen their back line. This is the weakest back line I've seen, and partly because 1, Stones is out injured, and 2, Kyle Walker's lost a step clearly in the last several weeks.
Walker's lost a step, and what's his fella?
Ruben Diaz.
Ruben Diaz at the back as well has not been great this season, and I think he really complements Stones well. And Stones has not been there this season. Who did they play recently? They played somebody in the Champions League, narrowly got through, right?
Which club?
Man City. They played somebody in the Champions League recently, and it was like 4-3 or something like that, was it?
Yeah, there was a high-scoring one, but I don't believe it was. I think they'd automatically qualified already. Brooks.
So they beat Young Boys 3-0. They beat them also 3-1 previously in the Champions League.
What was the last Premier League game they played? I can't remember.
Oh, sorry.
Chelsea, they tied 4-4.
That's it. The 4-4 match.
That's the one. Yeah. Game. Yeah, thank you, Nate. Yeah,
that's that one.
And like we said on last week's show, Chelsea were the better team that day.
And if Pochettino had had his way, there would have been a couple of more minutes added to that extra time.
Yeah.
And he feels, and I do too, Chelsea might have gone on and actually got the winner there.
Chelsea, and I mean, Chelsea were at home, but they played on the front foot. They went after City. They didn't sit in. I thought Chelsea played really well. So,
did Chelsea put together a blueprint on how to beat City? Because if so, Klopp is he's going to follow suit.
I think Klopp will just do what Klopp does, and the thing is, right? If you look at the teams that have actually gone to the Etihad over the last 4, 5, 6 seasons, I probably venture a guess, and again I'm probably pulling this out of my backside, is that Liverpool have probably got more points at the Etihad than any other team over the past 7 or 8 years.
You might be right on that. You absolutely might be right. Yeah.
I don't think he'll be afraid of him at all. I think Liverpool will win this weekend.
Well, you've got Liverpool visiting Manchester City. That's number 1 and number 2 playing, and then you've got number 4 and number 5 as Aston Villa play Tottenham Hotspur. And that game's at 9 a.m. on Sunday. As I said, we will be down at Dog and Pony Show Brewing in Oak Park. Come visit. Come say hi. Give the magic words of Up the Villa, and I may buy you a beer. I am very much looking forward to this game. As we know, as we've said, Tottenham are struggling with a couple of injuries. They're struggling with a loss of form at the moment. They've kind of just lost it a little bit after their great start to the season. Absolutely remarkable start to the season. It was fantastic. No one saw that coming. They were leading the league for about 10 weeks or so and have dropped off shortly here. Villa have done very well. Unfortunately, as Nate keeps pointing out, they've lost the big matches. They've lost against Newcastle. They got hammered at Newcastle in the first game of the season. They got hammered at Liverpool 3-0. They lost, unfortunately, at Nottingham Forest 2-0. Very poor display from Villa. They did bounce back. They have played Brighton. They hammered the heck out of Brighton. They've won some games. They can only play. You can only play who's in front of you, right? But Villa have played very nice football in the last several weeks with a little blip here and there. I'm wondering how they play against a resurging Tottenham team.
Do you want to make a bet?
I mean, I'm open to it.
Do you want to make a bet? I'll go 2-1 Liverpool and 2-1 Villa.
Oh, are you going to parlay it?
I'm going to parlay it. I'll go with a double.
Okay.
I'll go with a parlay. Liverpool to win 2-1, Villa to win 2-1.
You know what? I'm definitely buying beers if that happens, by the way, because I'm very happy if that happens. Because Villa will move up the table.
I actually think it's a really good time for Villa to play Spurs.
Coming back after the break?
Come back after the break. Romero's still out. He's still suspended.
Yep.
Madison's injured still. You know,
the one that I'm happy is injured. I'm never happy that someone's injured, but I'm happy that he won't be playing against Villa. It is the new center back they have, Mickey Van de Ven. That fella is young, tall, and quick. He is a younger version of Tyrone Mings and Ezri Konsa, by the way. So I think him not being there is really going to help Villa and Ollie Watkins. I like your shouts of 2-1 for both. I'm going to actually say. I didn't give my prediction on the Liverpool-Man City game. I believe that game ends in a draw. I want to say 1-1 or 2-2. I think Villa pip Tottenham. I think I'll go along with your scoreline, Danny. I think it's 2-1. I think Villa will actually win 2-1. They may have to come from behind, but I think Villa do it. They have, and you know what? I got in an interesting, not an argument, but a conversation with Luke Zagorski the other day about defenders, and he said, you know, Tyrone Mings is a brilliant player, and Pau Torres. He was going on about Villa's center back Pau Torres, who's come over from Spain, and how good he is, and he called him a Rolls Royce. And I said, you know what, Pau Torres is an absolutely exciting, young, brilliant player, but the player that nobody knows about and everybody skips over, and then when you know it, the next day he got into the England squad, Ezri Konsa. Ezri Konsa for Villa as a center back is the Rolls Royce of center backs. He is so quick, so smart on the ball. Now that I've said this, he'll probably make a silly mistake and Villa will lose to Tottenham. But Ezri Konsa, boys and girls, if you play center back, watch how this man moves around the field. He knows when to hold the ball, when to get rid of it. He knows where to put the ball. Very smart player. I'm going to say 2-1 Villa, draw Liverpool and Man City. Nate, you look like you want to give a little thought there? No?
City's going to crap on Liverpool.
Well, tell us how you really feel about the game.
No, that one I'm going to wake up for because I got 3 Bundesliga players playing in the Liverpool team, so it gives me something to watch.
Is Liverpool like your new team because they got all these?
They got 3 Bundesliga, 1 and 4 over Stuttgart. So let's go, baby!
Yeah.
You know why? Silverside, that goal was so special is because Hungary's now qualified in the Europa League.
Yeah,
that was quite a goal.
Place. And then he went to the fans and had a shot.
Wait a minute, like physical shot of like
liquor.
Yes, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Only in Hungary.
Got to be careful these days.
Good stuff.
You never know what's gonna happen there.
I do think it's going to be a good match. I think City's going to get the better of Liverpool. I just think Pep's going to pull it off. He has a way to do it, but I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a very competitive match. It'll be fun to watch. Villa Tottenham.
Yeah, give me your prediction there, buddy. Come on.
Villa's going to win.
Villa's going to win, yes.
Wow.
It's in the bag. Nate called it. Yeah, I do want to know why. Why do you think they're going to win?
That stud defender that's also from the Bundesliga, Wolfsburg, won't be playing that game. So
he is out.
When you're down a Bundesliga player, you're vulnerable. And then Villa's got how many Bundesliga players? 2 rolling in.
We do have 2. Leon Bailey's playing well, and Moussa Diaby's playing very well as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Brooks, what you had your hand up there, my friend?
Yeah, so some comments from our YouTube chat. So Satvik are one of our new writers that we've
hey,
acquired.
Hold on. Hey man, love those articles by the way. Keep sending those in. They got some good reads.
Yes. Commenting on the City Liverpool game, it's going to be a typical City Liverpool game. The quality of the game has been the best in the PL for the last 5 years. It's always end-to-end. Very excited for it. Haaland back fit as well. Hopefully, maybe from the ankle injury, he's going to predict 3-2 to City.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah, just so everybody knows, Haaland did get injured over the break, but slight ankle injury. I believe he will be back.
It's been announced he'll be back.
He'll be back. So
Okay.
precautionary.
Benjamin
Hinosa?
Hinosa?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Benji, love that guy.
Yeah, he put some good stuff on. Him and Nate have some good debates.
How the bleep can Robertson stop Foden? Well, doesn't play on that side for one, and Robertson's probably been the best left back in the Premier League for the last 5-6 seasons.
So you yield. He can't stop him because there's on different sides of the field.
Isn't we're talking Andy Robertson?
Yeah.
I believe he's out injured.
Ha!
For a couple of weeks.
So that's how he's not going to stop him.
I believe he is injured. Brooks, you may have to look this up. I want to say he's had to go out for surgery on a muscle injury. Definitely look that up. I think he might be out injured. But, I will say Foden has moved around a little bit. He has moved around from central off to the right. So what I'm actually... I would really love to see happen, but the matchup won't happen because it's on opposite sides. I would love to see Mo Salah run at Walker, but it won't happen because they play on opposite sides of the field. Yes, right. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah. So a quick update. So Andy Robertson. So an injury update from some Fulham blog, Liverpool blog. He's been sidelined since dislocating his shoulder on international duty in October. He required surgery and has missed the Reds' last 7 games. As a result, they've used someone else at left back. Despite not being available for selection, let me just see the 20-year-old. Oh, wow, he's 29. Pretty old there.
Yep. Still got some decent legs for a 29. I don't mean to look nice. I mean, he's quick. He's still got some speed for a 29-year-old.
Yeah, so
but he is out injured for a couple more weeks, I believe.
Yeah, so it's so far so good. 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks since he's had surgery on his shoulder.
So he'll be out a little bit. Yeah. So both teams missing a player or two here and there. John Stone's out injured. Robertson out injured.
Who's the new? It's Simicast, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
that guy. I could not pronounce his name, so yes.
Yeah. Not quite the up to Andy Robertson quality, but close enough. Some other games. So who do Everton have as they come back to play in the Premiership after being docked 10 points, as you heard us talk about earlier? Yeah. Are they going to have that feeling that it's the world, the Premiership, and everybody against us? Because if I'm Sean Dyche, I'm throwing that into their minds that they have to come out and they have to play and they have to go against everybody. They have Manchester United. I'm going to throw this over to the Manchester United boys. As you see, their new flag behind them. Boys, this probably, before the break, before we heard about the 10-point deduction, was it going to be a good team to play against? Still feel that way? Or now with this deduction, do you think they're going to have a little bit of extra pep in their step? Anything from the Man United section of the room? I don't know. Yeah.
Anyone?
Yielding in to me, huh?
Bueller.
Yeah, go
Bueller.
It's
Just another game.
It's just very typical that Man United coming back after an international break. They're either playing a team that's got a new manager bump or they're playing a team that's got a 10-point deduction bump. Yeah, I don't know, mate, to be honest with you. I mean, Man United are the most informed team over the last 5 games in the Premier League. So, smart money says that they're going to go to, Goodison Park and get a result. But I wouldn't count on it, to be honest with you. I think Everton will win, to be honest with
you. You think they're actually going to win?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Everton?
Yeah. Where's the game at? Do we know if it's at Old Trafford?
It's at Goodison.
It's at Goodison. Oh, jeez. Yeah, you got the whole Goodison Park. You got that whole crowd behind you then. Ooh.
It's one of the only grounds that's got
those toffees.
It's one of the only grounds in the Premier League that you're literally, the fans are on top
of you. Yeah.
Isn't
They
that
actually
at Chelsea?
No, it's not quite as bad as
A little bit.
Oh.
yeah, but you know they still have this the what they call the stanchions holding up the stands. They don't have the overhang. They've still got the poles in the way, so you've got obstructed view in the stadium.
So you can get
yeah.
a seat behind a pole then.
Yeah, you can actually, which is
man.
horrible. But one of the reasons they're in the middle of building a new stadium, and they thought they could have money written off for the new stadium, but the Premiership said no, and now they've been 10 points deducted. So that whole thing. Yeah, I was gonna pick a draw for that game, to be honest. I still may because, as you said, Man United the most informed team over the last 5 games. So I don't know. That's an interesting one. Nate?
A nice, smooth, crisp, mind-numbingly boring 1-0 Manchester United win. I think this type of drama folds a team. I think it's a lot to ask the team to come back for, at least after the first match. United also have won 52% of the last 30-some-odd games they've played. So my money is on United. I don't think they're going to trounce them. I think it's just going to be a nice, smooth, paint-drying, grass-growing 1-0 to the good old boys.
Snooze fest.
Snooze fest, but 1-0. Let's say some weird Bruno Fernandes 89th minute goal to send them over.
So what?
If you're right, we'll just buy you a 6-pack.
Yeah, I mean, so basically what I'm saying, in the last 8 games, what you see is what you get.
I say you're gonna. That was the Fulham game.
Yeah,
at Fulham.
Yep.
King snooze fest, as you said.
Enjoy.
Just, I gotta be honest, horrendous. They pulled it out in the end. Tim Ream and Anthony Robinson were diabolical in the back to give that ball away several times. Bruno Fernandes, last-minute goal. There you go. They walk away. Who did they play before that with? I think they also won 1-0.
Luton
Town. Luton. Powerhouse, Luton Town. But you may be right there, Nate. I think I still may. I may pick a draw personally. So if you guys are betting, you've got a couple options here. We've got Nate predicting a Man United 1-0 win, Danny predicting an Everton win, and I'm predicting a draw. So we can't come to any conclusion here. Do what you want with your money and your DraftKings. There's a couple of other games we could talk about, but those were the ones that I really felt stood out. Let's go ahead again and show that table real quick. Again, Everton down the bottom there in 19th after their 10-point deduction there on 4 points. As we said, Man City, Liverpool coming back and playing against you. That's number 1, number 2, and number 4, Tottenham playing Villa. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Tottenham and Villa, 26 goals for and 24 goals for. They have both been putting the ball in the back of the net, so that could end up a really high-scoring game. All right, this is a topic. This is a fun little topic we've had not much debate about. But have you guys seen the offside rule that now could be enacted? We will still need VAR, but yeah, VAR. Everybody loves VAR.
More clear and obvious, though, you know.
Right. It'll still never be clear enough. Danny, when you and I were playing way back in the day, and I don't say that to just you and me, but you and I were the ones that called it out in our group chat first. It used to be there needed to be between the last defender and the forward clear and obvious daylight for it to be offside.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming back, my friend. That's coming back.
Seems as though it is. It seems as though it is. The proposed new law, a player would be seen as offside if their entire body is in front of the last defender of the opposing team, which essentially reads that a player would be offside if there is clear daylight between the player and the last defender. So
let me ask you this: as a last defender, if you see that the player is in an offside position, you're going to stop. But what happens if I stop and leave my arm there? What happens if my hand or a toenail or something is within the body, and is it? I don't know.
Can I read you the current offside rule?
Yeah, please.
So
This will be fun.
So from IFAB, the current offside rule is a player will be deemed offside if any part of their head, feet, and body is nearer the opponent's goal line than the second last opposition player and the ball. In other words, if any body part with which a player can score hands and arms not included is in front of the second last opponent, then the player will be offside. Additionally, the last body part, which can be deemed offside, is the bottom area of the player's armpit. This has become one of the wildly contested points of the debate as VAR has given controversial decisions, especially during tight situations during games.
Score with your armpit. How common is that?
How? Please digest that verbal diarrhea of an offside rule.
Seriously, with these rules that they have. All right, so that's the current rule. The new rule is just clear and obvious daylight, right, between the two. So
yeah, so a player would be seen as offside if their entire body is in front of the last defender of the opposing team. So right now, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Right? The door's the goal. There's clear daylight between me and Nate.
Yep.
Right?
So you're offside.
If I move, I'm not offside.
That's not offside because your hand is
Hand is right here.
Yep.
I'm not offside.
Yep.
There's no daylight.
There's no daylight.
So all you have to do is make sure your hand is so the forwards. You're gonna have a whole bunch of forwards. Let me put the camera back. You're gonna have a whole bunch of forwards. You know, just saying, "Here's the defender." Wait.
Do you know what it's going to bring back? It's going to bring back the old Arsenal backline with Tony Adams. They're just going to stand in a line and go like this. They'll put their arm up in the air.
They used to do that.
Is this
Yeah.
So sweeper stopper we're gonna play with now?
I don't know if that's gonna work, but yeah, I mean,
is this an England only rule?
No.
Or this is the whole. This
No,
is
it's
globally.
just,
In
global,
England
IFAB,
only rule.
yeah, globally, yeah.
yeah, this is globally and brought to you by one Mr. Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
Correct. This is his interpretation. This is what he wants to do.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to lead to a lot more goals. So we put this up on our Twitter page. We retweeted the tweet coming out of this, then said it was Arsene Wenger, and we asked a bunch of people, and we had a bunch of. We had mostly positive. It was mostly positive. People saying it's going to cause a lot more work for the defenders. There's going to be a lot more goals involved.
Why wouldn't you want more goals? I mean, if we want more touchdowns and everything else in sports, why wouldn't you want more goals in soccer?
I think we have more goals now than we've ever had before, and we're still having a bunch of issues with offside and VAR and everything. But I think someone needs to do the. You could probably easily be looked up, but I think we have more goals than we've ever had in the history of sport. So now bring this new rule in. Oh boy!
I think
So like 6-6 games now. Oh boy, I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
if you look at again, if you look at like VAR as a whole right now, and you look at the issues pertaining to VAR, you could probably point to the offside rule of being probably one of the biggest bones of contention with VAR right now.
Yeah.
Whether with all this crap about what is a clear and obvious error, or what is what was the other one that came out about obstructive view or something, or subjective. It's a subjective offside rule. This probably eliminates that, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because if there's clear and obvious daylight, then he's clearly offside.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I just
it's going to give a lot of like. It's going to give a lot. Imagine being Mbappe with his pace.
Oh my word!
See you, mate. It's just like
Oh, my
just dump the
word.
ball in and behind, and he's gone.
Yeah,
Nobody's
seriously.
catching him.
So, all right, Nate, your thoughts on this? Are you for this or against it? Or
It's
don't
about
care?
the dumbest rule I've ever heard in my entire life, and this is not going to yield the result that you want it to.
You think this is going to inhibit goals being scored?
Yep.
How
Be-
so?
Danny just proved it.
Wait, how? What do you mean? Oh, because wait.
So why the hell would I ever give Mbappe or anyone an inch? I'm going to stand right behind him the whole time. I have to stand right behind him the whole time. And if Mbappe takes 1 foot forward, I have to step back.
So what you're saying, not to cut you off, but what you're saying is
I am
instead of
now running a
defenders
deep
trying to
line.
Play the line.
I'm now running a deep line.
Yeah.
And I can't take a risk. And I can't move forward as a defensive player. This is going to yield the exact opposite of what you think it's going to yield. And this is all because of your stupid VAR and you stupid people.
That's not
who
my
have to-
stupid VAR. Don't call it
Well,
mine.
you're doing
I
it
didn't
wrong.
invent it.
My league has no issues.
My league has no issues either.
Now my league has to deal with this.
Yes. Now my league has to do with it as
Whoa,
well.
whoa. Okay, hold on. I don't mean to cut
Because-
you guys off, but this is international. This isn't just the Premiership pushing this, right? This is way above the
Who
Premiership.
came up with this nonsense?
I mean, he doesn't work in the
England.
Premiership anymore.
Who came up with this nonsense?
The French in
Arsene
England.
Wenger.
Who has the most issues with offsides? Side.
It's probably one of the best things that's actually come out of the game of the last couple of years, because of all the technicalities and all the VAR nonsense.
Yeah.
This is pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. Because you can't let a ref do his job. So now you have to have it so blatantly obvious. And what's going to happen is, and I'm telling you, it's going to yield the exact opposite. You guys are thinking defenders are like, "Brrr, I'm just going to let Mape stand 2 feet in front of me with his arm like this, and I'm just going to stare at him and go, oh, darn, what do I do? Instead, I'm going to go,
That is how I think defenders are.
no, because you're faster than me, and what did I do in a game? I stood on top of you.
You tried to
On top of
you tried to hug me. I thought
Exactly.
I didn't know what was
I
happening.
didn't give you an inch because I couldn't. Because I knew if I gave you an inch, you would be gone. And so now if there's a rule that favors you getting an inch, I'm not going to give it.
There'll be a lot more sending offs as well.
I'm not going to give it.
There might be a lot more percentage.
Oh, 'cause guys will pull
That's a good
players
point,
down.
Nate. That's
Yep.
a great point, actually.
It's good.
You'll
Yeah.
pull them. There'll be more
Tactical
tactical
fouls.
fouls.
Yep.
And they really
Yep.
kind of want to get rid of that, honestly. They were trying to get rid of the tactical fouls, to be honest with you.
That's two very good points. One by Nate and one by Danny. More tactical fouls on one defender standing behind, not trying to.
Nope,
have
we're
the
not going forward.
offsides.
Why would I do that? Why would I expose myself? I can't now.
Oh, that
Thanks. Good
sucks.
job. Awesome.
Yeah, they're not going to shoot the outside backs, that's for sure.
Nope. Why would I do that?
Wow, yeah.
When you say you're not allowed to.
Well, now I see your point.
Yeah.
I don't like this idea.
Nope. Everyone thought like defending coaches are like, well, I'll just send him forward because I'm an idiot. No, they're gonna go, well, new stupid rule, so everyone pack it in.
Well, you've convinced me.
That's all it took to convince you is that.
So it's not gonna lead, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna lead to more goal scoring. And I think the reason why you've had a progressive increase of more goal scoring is because you're allowing for more runs.
I see where you're coming from, but I also see the way teams are playing nowadays, right? Like Newcastle, Villa, Liverpool, they like to play that high line and depend on those last defenders to be quicker and smarter than the forward and to step. So now
They
it's going to
can't.
be interesting. They like to play that high line to condense the field and almost promote that ball in over. And you're right, Nate.
But now I can't
now they
because
can't
because
because-
as Danny just proved,
The fingertip will keep you on.
I'm off.
I'm onside.
I'm on.
You're onside.
So why would I ever risk that? I'm putting everyone behind and going, yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
shit.
I don't know how I feel about this now because if defenders play in a new way, Danny, I don't know. This is going to be interesting.
Because you don't think if you don't think that they're going to adjust to this, you're out of your mind. They're absolutely going to adjust to this.
Yeah, I figured it would take defenders a couple of years
No.
to figure this out.
No, because you have a coach that's going to yell at you to tell you to not do
Oh,
that.
that's right.
Yeah.
I always forget about the coach.
Yeah,
So you think teams are going to sit in more?
I absolutely. Again,
Onside?
off.
I just want him to touch me.
On.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
He is technically onside. I don't know if that counts as onside, but we'll see.
Craig running
I think-
around.
I
One
think-
shoe, Craig running there. What are you doing, Craig? I'm outside.
I'm onside. What are
You
you doing?
take your shirt off, you may be on sides at
This
some
is
point,
true.
Craig.
This
Don't
is
forget
true.
that.
This is true. Take my
So
shirt off.
my thing is, I think you just have to rewrite the rule, and you really need to think about, instead of doing this the way Arsene Wenger has decided, and we've debunked right now, that we need to really figure out the proper word usage of what defines offsides and what body part can be. I think it's ridiculous when a toe's offsides. Like, you're not gaining a super advantage when your toe or like half of your shoes on sides. You're not, in my opinion. It's just absurd.
But you can score with your toe.
You can, but like then it comes down to how fast can the defender recover.
That's the defender's fault.
You know who should be really good at judging that, though, Brooks?
The referee.
This guy, it was amazing. He has a yellow shirt. He got paid a lot of money,
Ah, yeah.
and he would determine that. But
That's true.
instead, now you got some people who are watching microfilm 3D image of someone's left butt hair scooting out to determine he's offside
In slow motion.
in slow motion. And someone going, you need to take another look at that, Robbie. You need to take another look at it. You got to look.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's really good right now is the releases of VAR as the game is progressing. The actual audio.
Yeah, you know, I
From the-
haven't
from the
listened.
checks.
I haven't listened to much of that. I
Oh,
need
the
to.
discussion between the ref
Yeah.
and the fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
it's-
referee?
you can actually like the Newcastle one
Yeah.
with the goal with Anthony Gordon, and then the Man United.
Do they know what they're talking about? I haven't listened to those. What's the conversation like?
it's really strange actually, because the referee in both of those two clips that I watched, the 5-minute audios,
Yeah.
you can hear the referee on field getting really frustrated with the guys at Stockley
with
Park.
VAR.
Yeah,
because
with
they
VAR
haven't
going,
gotten it
come on,
done."
guys, like, you've got to make a decision here. Like
Yeah.
hurry up and
Everybody,
make a
I
decision.
got 65,000 people looking at me.
Yeah.
So they did the same thing too in the U17 World Cup. It took them like 5 minutes to make a clear call that the guy wasn't offsides for his goal. But it's the same thing. Like they need to train these guys that are looking at this video. Like, make the decision, dude. Is it there? Or is it not? Like,
I think that's maybe why this rule might get changed is because the current offside rule is too complex.
it is.
Right.
It's too complex.
need
So
to
if you dumb
make
it
it
down a little bit,
Yes.
you know,
And now they're also putting in technology into the ball so it can correlate with the video. So when the ball is actually struck compared to when the line gets drawn, right? Because right now we're just going.
That's the Euros they're doing it for,
Yeah,
right? That chip in the soccer ball.
Yeah,
help
the
'em?
chip in the soccer ball. What's the name of it again?
I
They
forgot.
call-
I shared the article. I can't
Yeah,
remember
they
what it
call
was.
this ball
Air
something.
306 when it appears on the screen. They don't know how to do it.
I'm just waiting for one of these. I'm just waiting for this, the new release on Twitter, right? Because we've had recently the first female that was a fourth official in the Premier League, and then the first female in Belgium that she just refereed that first men's game. I'm just waiting for the release where iRobot takes the center of a World Cup final, and all you see is a robot running down the field, as a referee.
Yeah, you won't get it wrong there. AI, look at. Are you install like AI contacts in like referees' eyes, and then there you go. Like,
Boy.
You won't get it wrong there.
exactly. Dan Wolga has a comment by the way.
Hold on.
All right,
Hold
yeah,
on.
hold on.
Yes,
You
go
won't
ahead.
get it wrong there until the solar power robot starts to lose like energy and then like doesn't
too
call
cold.
anything.
Or it's too cold
And he goes,
outside.
Yeah. All right. What's Dan Wolka's comment?
Dan
there?
Wolga, draw the lines bigger, much bigger. If they overlap at all, then onside. I thought EPO was doing that last season, but doesn't seem like they are doing it this
So
season.
Here.
Go ahead, Nate.
I have this revolutionary idea. Now, I want you guys to really think about this and mull it over for a second. Just let this seep in, right? And I'm sure there's a few people that might agree with me, and some people might get a little controversial. Let the damn ref do his job and stop nitpicking 90 minutes of a game.
Correct.
I know, it's wild.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I think we're too far down the hole now.
Yeah.
The rabbit
Want to know
hole.
how far down the hole we are, Craig? Right? You ready?
Oh, that's way far down.
onside!
You're onside. Yes. So.
Oh, they stink, mate. They really
Oh,
stink.
good lord. Yeah.
Leg presses.
Yeah. I think we're too far down that hole now with offside. It is going to be interesting to see how this goes. I don't know if I agree with it, but it's interesting they're bringing back the clear and obvious daylight. Now, one comment, the funniest comment, absolute funniest comment I saw about this on Twitter came from our good friend Alexi Lawless. When he retweeted it, and they were saying they drew the line, what was onside and what offside, and his comment was, wait, how thick is the line? I mean, that was a controversy we had for a while. The line's too thick. That's definitely not right. So you never know. All right, I think we've got a lot more to get to. You may hear Nate and I do some screaming here, or maybe we'll have a civilized conversation. I don't know, but we completely disagreed about how this game went down over the weekend. Let me bring it up real quick so I can read about it. All right. France over Gibraltar, the powerhouse of Gibraltar, 14-0. 14-0. By the way, France had already secured the top spot in the group in qualification. They'd already gone through. And yet they still have Griezmann and Mbappe starting and playing for the majority of the game. Previously, Gibraltar lost to France 3-0. Only 3-0 in my opinion. That's actually a win for Gibraltar. This one, manager Didier Deschamps handed 17-year-old Zaire Emery his debut, making him the youngest France player since 1914, and the kid scored in the game. Also got injured though. He is injured And Zaire Emery will now be out of PSG's final 2 Champions League group stage matches, as well as the League One fixtures against Monaco, Le Havre, and Nantes.
Should have been with the 17s at the 17 World Cup.
No, good enough to play. Good enough to play for the national team.
I know.
I absolutely love that he handed him a start in this game because France had already qualified. They didn't need to play him in this game. Nate, I will let you have at it, my friends.
Glenn wants to hear you yell. That's what he said.
I mean, it's only 2 touchdowns. What's the problem?
What's the problem? Did they need to listen?
Okay, hold on.
Gibraltar did have a man sent off early on.
There's nothing wrong with that scoreline.
Here's the thing. So
I think there is.
Are we going to pretend that this is France is the only team that have ever done this?
No. We're not.
So
Absolutely not. So
we can agree that England's done it several times.
Italy's
done it several. It's
absolutely.
not just
absolutely.
Yeah,
no.
every team's done this.
No.
Right?
But the context behind my argument is they've already qualified.
Okay.
They've already qualified. This is a nothing game essentially.
Okay.
They've already got top spot. So even if they magically lose this game, they still have top spot.
Right.
Why are we letting Mbappe score? By the way, couldn't get his hat trick until the 82nd minute. So he had to stay in. At that point, it was 12-0. But hey, we want you to get the hat trick and now become the 3rd all-time leading goal scorer in France history. Okay. I mean, giving the 17-year-old kid Zaire Emery a start and a goal, I absolutely love it. Absolutely get it. Yep.
Can I ask?
Absolutely.
Can I ask your question with a question?
Yep.
So why did England call in Harry Kane this weekend? They already qualified, and you were playing Malta and North Macedonia. Why did they call in Saka? Why did they call in?
You start with your starters because you play.
Agreed.
You play. They won 3-0.
Yeah, that's
They won
kind of
3-0.
And they also
By the
smacked them.
50th minute or 60th minute, I guarantee he would have been taken off. If they were up 12-0, they're up 7-0 at halftime.
You didn't during the World Cup qualifier against San Marino when you smacked him 10-0. It was till after Harry Kane got his hat trick that he was pulled off. And so here's the thing: why are you calling in players? It's not even an argument. It's a question to the room: is what does it mean to be called up for a national team? Is it not you calling your best players? Because I believe you got mad for Mr. Phillips getting called in, Calvin, and you got mad by one Mr. Henderson getting called in, and you said Rashford shouldn't be starting, but against Malta and North Macedonia, I should be able to call in anyone. So do we not think that as a national team, it is now no longer a privilege and an honor to put on the jersey? You call in the best guys you have. You play the best guys you have. And why didn't we sub out Mape earlier? I don't know. I would have to ask one Craig Hearn or one Danny. I'll even throw one Brooks in there. You're chasing a hat trick. You're chasing a double assist. You're chasing a league or your 300th goal. You're chasing the 3rd highest goal scoring player in your national team. You going to be happy with being yanked out no matter what the score is, or would you like to achieve that?
I think
I'll be quiet for a minute.
I think we've gone soft. I just think we've gone soft.
How?
Because they're professional footballers. They're professional football teams. They're international football teams. You know, and I mean, I'm going to go back to my own playing days, really, from when I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, where we were smacking teams 22, 24, 26-0.
Wow.
And it was socially acceptable. Just, you're the better team.
Yeah.
You want to score goals. It's, you know.
I will agree with you for a little. I'll let you finish.
You know, so I think we've gone soft. They're playing in a European qualifier.
Doesn't mean anything because they've actually.
Doesn't matter whether it doesn't mean anything or not. They're still playing in a European qualifier. These players are still chasing records. They're still chasing dreams. They're still chasing goals, all that type of stuff. You can't turn around to a professional footballer and say, yeah, don't work as hard today.
What about giving other players a chance? They did
do that, didn't he?
They
Gave
did.
Emery a start.
I can't read it.
Danny's number 1.
Danny's number 1 in your heart.
But he's saying everything that I'm saying too, and
Yeah,
that's why
I
I
get it.
wholeheartedly
You guys are
agree.
agreeing.
This is a competitive match. This isn't a friendly. You're bringing in your starting squad. Then why are you calling in Harry Kane versus Malta?
Not disagreeing. This is an international match. It's not a friendly. This is a let's go at it. They're grown men going and playing. Absolutely. Now, what I am saying is I have played in games where I've been on 2 goals, and at halftime my team's up 7-0, and the other team's down a man, and I go, hey, boys, you got this? We got 2 subs. I'm going home. This is boring as piss. I'm out. I've done that. And, yes, I've done it in –
Over 30s don't count.
This is true. Listen, what I'm saying is you left Mbappe in, who, by all accounts, is one of the best players in the world, is he not? Top 5 currently?
Yeah.
Okay.
What happens if he gets his leg broken?
So he shouldn't have been called into camp because that could happen in camp. See,
What happens in the 89th minute of a game that you're up 13 or 14-0, he gets his leg snapped? How smart do you look?
So think about it from the other team's perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Think about it from
Gibraltar's
perspective. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Why would any one of those Gibraltar players want to play a France nobody?
That's true.
That's pretty disrespectful, actually. It brings up a good point.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think that has.
Why wouldn't you want to try to play against the best players and not stop them?
But also, you've been called into the French camp. So, name a player who didn't start today. You've been called into the French camp for 2 games, right? Job's done. You've qualified and everything. You also want a cap. Mbappe's going to go on. He's had many caps. He's going to go on and have 100 more caps. But now you've got 1 or 2 players who you need to see play. Why doesn't he play a player who's this is his first camp, or he doesn't know him very well? This is essentially a nothing game. You're gonna win. You're France versus Gibraltar.
He did do that, and that player got hurt.
He gave 1. Mbappe, gee, I wonder what he can do against Gibraltar.
So are you saying that Mbappe should have said no thanks? We already qualified. You don't need to call.
I'm not saying anything.
Even though
I'm saying Mbappe did Mbappe did what he should have done. It's not on him.
So the coach.
This is on the coach.
So the coach.
This is on the coach.
So the coach shouldn't be bringing in the best players to play in a competitive match.
The coach should play players who he needs to see because this game doesn't count for anything. Even if they lost, they'd still be top spot in the qualifying group.
Who are you to say what the coach needs to see and doesn't need to see?
I'm allowed to have an opinion on it.
You can, and maybe in my opinion, maybe he has seen all he needs to see. Mbappe's not an old player. He's going to be around for 7 some odd years plus, right?
Yep.
So, again, the coach wanted him in.
He did. He played him the entire game.
I'm asking you because you sat here last week, and you're being a little bit more ingenuine, but now you're changing your tone because you said Henderson shouldn't be called in. Why are we calling in him? Calvin Phillips isn't even playing for City. Why aren't we calling in them? Well, you're playing Malta and North Macedonia. And I agree. They shouldn't be there. And I think you agreed they shouldn't be there. And you agreed they shouldn't be there. But now we're saying that Mbappe shouldn't be there because...
Not shouldn't be there. Not shouldn't be there.
You're not calling in your best...
I'll clarify. Okay. Danny, I'll let you go. You look like you wanted to say something. I'll let you go first. Go ahead. I do have a retort to that.
I didn't think that Rashford, Henderson should have been anywhere near that team at the weekend.
Right.
I didn't think they deserved it.
I agree.
So for me, I would have gone with a stronger 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we forget that they are still professional footballers. They still do want to play for their country. I mean, the manager, Deschamps you don't know what Deschamps might have gone into the change room and gone, but Antonio Kylian, you don't want to sit today?
Yeah,
Kylian's turned around and gone, no, don't. Play me.
Oui.
I'm going to give you my example. So, England played Malta, okay? They won 3-0. But if England are sitting first in the group and have qualified, and the game literally means nothing, and Gareth Southgate gives a start to Harry Kane and to everybody else, I'm saying, why the hell are you playing Harry Kane right now? Jared Bowen, Ollie Watkins are sitting on the bench who do not get call-ups very often. They don't get to score for England very often. You don't know how they play with some of these other players. Put them up there. Oh, and by the way, definitely play Rashford because you know what? At his club right now, he is not in form. There's something out of sorts. Give him the time on the field to maybe work it out, maybe help himself out. The game means nothing. I swear to you right now, if that happens and they're up 7-0 at halftime and he doesn't pull a Harry Kane off and Harry Kane goes out and breaks a leg in the game because, I don't know, Malta's pissed off because it's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, nothing, and Harry Kane has to miss The Euros next year, you know who I'm blaming? Gareth Southgate. I do not blame any of these players. Not a single one of them. They're put into the game. They do what they need to do. I blame the coaches. Gareth Southgate, why the hell is he calling in Calvin Phillips, who sits on the bench? Why the hell is he calling in Jordan Henderson, who plays in the Saudi Arabian League? They do not deserve to be playing. There are players in the English Premier League who are in those positions who should be there playing, who deserve a spot. Again, that's just what I'm thinking. It's the coaches, not the players, for me.
In the same San Marino game that you beat them 10-0, you already played them 5-0 in the same group.
Were we qualified already?
Hold on. No, you were not. And when you played them 5-0, you were not qualified, and you brought in a lesser squad. Look it up. I did.
Okay.
And then when you beat them 10-0, you were already qualified, and you brought in your 18. And this weekend, by the way, you're pretty much already qualified.
I'm not telling you that Gareth Southgate is a god and does everything right. I think Gareth Southgate's an idiot. Me as a coach, I want someone else to get those playing minutes.
That's nice. I'm going to say it again. I think you would have different players feeling different if they're not getting called in to play for the national team. Danny, you're a regular starter for your national team. How do you feel if your coach says, I'm going to not call you in, even though you're my go-to starter, even though you're chasing 300 career goals and you could get the third highest goal scoring record within our nation? We're going to leave you at home, though. You too happy with that?
No.
No player's going to be happy with that. I'd be pissed off.
Okay.
But it's not up to the player. It's up to the coach, and the coach is an idiot.
So you're suggesting the coach should systematically piss off his players by not calling them in fear of them getting injured when they could get injured in any game, any training session, any shower.
I don't understand how you're arguing against my opinion that the coach should have taken the best player in the world off, one of the best players in the world, off the field after it was 7-0, just so he could go and be the third all-time leading scorer.
Because
he's going to have a lot more games.
Because I'm agreeing with his opinion of the player probably didn't want to come off.
No player wants to get subbed off the field.
And as a World Cup winning coach and a guy who's been in a final the next year,
I don't disagree with your opinion. I don't disagree with it that the manager has a choice.
Yeah,
right? I don't disagree with that.
And he did make all 5 subs.
I don't disagree with that, but I will give you a rebuttal to your opinion that is also manager related, right? What are we, 7 months away from the Euros?
Yes.
Manager's probably looking at consistency. Manager's probably looking at I've got a squad of 22 players here that's probably going to be my 22 players. I'm going to go with consistency. I'm going to keep that team firing on all cylinders because I only get the next time that they get together is March. They're only 2.5 months away then from Euros. So maybe he's looking at going, you know what? This is good game time. It's good consistency for us as a group.
I mean, trust me, I get that. I understand that. But don't you want to look at other players as well? Anyway, I mean, listen, differing opinions. Yeah. That's what we're here for. I would be a different coach than you. I cannot read what you're having.
Danny nails it again. Because
he agreed with you?
Danny, let me ask a question.
Different opinions.
France's coach, has he won a Euro Cup before?
Champ.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And has he won a World Cup before?
He has, yeah.
And he's been to a World Cup final?
Aye.
So one could argue that...
Wait. If you've won a World Cup...
I didn't win it, but he's been to 2 finals. Yeah. All right, you get what I'm saying. So one could argue that maybe he knows what he's doing. Maybe.
He's also an idiot. Moving on. Didier Deschamps, idiot. I don't think he's a very good coach. I think he has been blessed with.
He would throw cheese at you for saying that.
I'm gonna argue that right now.
Phenomenal players.
Really, Paul Pogba is a phenomenal player.
When he played for France, he was.
Why do you think he played phenomenally for France versus anyone else?
Because he had what's his face next to him, the Chelsea midfielder.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah. Anyway, we got a lot of other stuff. We got a couple of minutes left. I want to get to some other things, boys.
Okay.
Just a couple of things here. One, let me put the screen back on me. Excuse me. Big thank you to Soccer World, soccerworld.net for all your soccer gear needs. Big thank you to Next Level Training, Aaron Bird, Dylan, Bilal, Scotty Wright, Renato, best trainers around. Big thank you to Dog and Pony Show Brewing. Again, we are going to be down at Dog and Pony Show Brewing in Oak Park on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Villa versus Tottenham. Be there, up the Villa. Might get you a free beer. Michigan Jags, thank you for them and all the love and support they've given us. Some rumors and news we're just going to go over before we head out here, boys. David De Gea turns down Al Nassr and around $500,000 per week and is reportedly considering a move to Miami. So rumor is he's turned down Al Nassr because his wife does not want to move to Saudi Arabia.
Lax rules.
Is that lacrosse rules? Did you lose a bet? Did you lose a bet?
I'm just trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
All right.
That's why I put the applause, because he's not going to Saudi Arabia. He's going to come to MLS because it makes sense, because Saudi Arabia is crap.
It's just a rumor right now. Just a rumor that he's going to be coming to MLS. Rumor is, on the other flip side of the coin, Luka Modric at the end of this year, he has just signed a new one-year contract with Real Madrid. This is his 12th year with the club. He has won absolutely everything there. He will be leaving Real Madrid at the end of the year and heading to Saudi Arabia.
Ooh.
Yeah. He is 38 years old.
MLS.
I tell you what, he has done everything in the game. If he wants to go get a final payday at Saudi Arabia, have at it. I'm fine with that. He is, his legs are gone. Still a magician with the ball, but his legs are essentially gone at this point. A little bit of a concern for Man United fans. Andre Onana injured in Cameroon's international game with Mauritius. He limped off hip injury at this point.
Is he out for the season?
No, just a couple of games, I think, at the worst.
Shit.
All right. So, Matt Miazga of Cincy FC, Nate, your boy, Matt Miazga, Cincy FC, MLS Defender of the Year. Big congratulations to him there. Rumors are that he was sent off in one of the last matches, walked into the referee's room and not allowed to do that. Conflicting reports, Athletic reporting that it happened, both teams reporting it didn't happen. We're actually going to wait to see what happens and if more news comes out before really diving into that. Throw the camera back to me. All right, boys. Thank you. Appreciate everybody being here. All the viewers, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate the comments, the love and support you've given us. Do me a huge favor. Give us a like. Give us a subscription. Give us a share. And if you're listening to this on a podcast, give us a 5-star review. It means a lot. We appreciate it. For me and the boys here at the studio at We Are Soccer, we're out.